Ron Harris here from MuscularDevelopment.com. Coverage of the Texas Pro brought to you by High Tech Pharmaceuticals. Standing here with the Pro Maker. No, he's going to kill me. This is live. You can't edit it. The Pro Creator, 20 Olympia wins, 5 divisions, president and founder of Evogen Nutrition. What else? Dad, husband, great all-around guy, Hany Rambod. So we just wrapped up the show, the second annual Texas Pro. Real quick, I want to tell you about the women's physique. They actually got more money than the open men tonight, the winner, because Ms. Olympia, Women's Physique Olympia champ Sarah Villegas donated, I think, like 10 grand or 15 grand.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Who does that while they're still champion?
Nobody. I mean, it's a great precedence to be setting because it really shows how much she's really invested in that division. And so thank her husband. She's very active in the community, so that's awesome.
Yeah. So that went to Melissa Tyke. Never heard of her before today. Don't get mad at me, guys. I don't follow every division as close as I should, but she looked great. Second, Pamela Canfield. Third, Ana Arias, who won Tampa last week. Fourth, Ashley Jones. Fifth, Jessica with a G, Campbell. Let's get into open bodybuilding, shall we? We'll start with from the top, the winner. So his actual name on the paper is Chinedu Andrew Obaika, but you guys all know him as Andrew Jacked. I had a lot of doubts about him because I've never seen him at this level of competition. Arnold Amateur, he looked good, but he was nowhere near 100%. I'd say he was like 60%. From the back, I was like, oh boy, this guy needs a lot of work. But he crushed it today, killed his pro debut. You've probably been aware of this guy for a little while. He's had some publicity. What were you expecting, and did he deliver?
Yeah, I think he delivered like a FedEx package. I think that at the end of the day, he came in. Yes, absolutely, he could be better. Everybody can be better, especially from the backside, but he's so dominant from the front. He looked absolutely incredible. I was really impressed, and I did see the pictures. But again, pictures. You see guys use magic light all around the world. They get in front of the, the lights in the gym and the lights in the locker room, and at the end of the day, they don't really show up on stage. And I don't look at those pictures. I like to see people in person. And being that I just moved here to Dallas, it was 15 minutes away from my home.
Nice.
It was great. I'm going to be home in about 20 minutes.
Oh, awesome.
But at the end of the day, what he did was he showed up. I think he proved a lot of people wrong that said that maybe they doubted him. And but again, yeah, can you pick his body apart and say, hey, his hamstrings, his glutes, his back? But he does have a very imposing look, like that really round, full muscle bellies in the front. And I think that he's just very new to bodybuilding, from what I heard, a couple years, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So, again, he's been training, I'm sure, for a while, even though he might not have been competing. I don't know when his first competition was. I don't know.
It was last spring in Dubai, and it was in like bike shorts with these other guys. It wasn't even posing trunks.
Okay.
They still had the COVID masks on.
Okay.
And it was like him and, some local, can I say local yokels? But they were in Dubai. I don't think they used that word. It was not much of a competition. It was just him dominating. But I want to ask you this. He's going to do the Arnold. He's committed to that. He's already qualified for the Olympia. If he was your athlete, because I know you've always been very strategic in having your athletes follow a plan of do this show, progress to this level, would you have him do the Olympia this year if he was your athlete?
That's hard to say because he isn't my athlete, but I would, after seeing this,
Yeah.
I probably would.
Okay.
Because I think that he's got that great of a physique that he could get even better by the Arnold. I believe Arnold's, 6 weeks?
6 weeks, yeah.
Right, and then from there, he can carry it in because I think we're about 18 weeks out from the Olympia right now.
Mhm.
So that gives him another 12 weeks. So I probably would.
Yeah.
Now, if it was a different era, like when I had Phil,
Yes.
I sat him out after a couple of really good shows because it was a slightly different era. Now, and it's two different types of people, two different eras.
Yeah.
So again, I probably would.
Yeah, that's why I said that, because I believe Phil won his first show, the Colorado, was at 2006?
2006.
And then he didn't do the Olympia till 2009?
No, so he did the 2006, he did Colorado Pro debut.
Yeah.
Then we did the New York Pro.
That's right.
Won that. Beat, actually, Andrew Jack's trainer, George Farah.
That's right, George.
Yeah, we were really good. So that's why George is telling me that he gives me such a hard time about Phil,
Yeah.
because not only did he beat Kai, but he also beat him. But we give him a hard time. But and then he took that year. We talked about it, told him to sit it out, didn't think he was going to be big enough to be able to compete
Yeah.
at the high level. Then the following year, He did the Arnold. He placed 5th at the Arnold.
Yeah.
And I gave him another break, even though he qualified being top 5.
6, 8, 9. Yeah.
Yep.
So it was
2008.
Yeah. Okay. So it was a 2-year break.
Yeah. So it was a 2-year break. And then after that, he came in and placed 3rd in his first Olympia.
All right. Well, let's move on to second place. What an improvement in Martin Fitzwater, the Martian. 25 years old. Is that what he is, Hector? Yeah. Wow. I mean, he knocked it out today. That condition. You know, when I heard Branch was his coach, I'm like, Branch coaching people. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, Branch knows bodybuilding and lifting and beef jerky, all kinds of jerky, but is he a good coach? He's definitely a good coach for Martin, I'll tell you that. This kid looked phenomenal today.
Yeah, he made a huge difference. I've seen him in the past. Definitely didn't have the level of conditioning or the completeness. So Branch, kudos to him and Martin. They brought an amazing package. I think that from the back, I think he was arguably one of the most complete from behind. And again, this was a really tough lineup. This was a much tougher lineup, in my opinion, than what I saw in Tampa a week ago.
Oh, yeah.
So, again, I wasn't there, but just from the pictures
I was there. This was way tougher.
Okay, and so with that being said, you got a lot of new blood here. So you had Andrew Jack, new blood. You have Martin, new blood. Again, younger guys. You had Quentin. Is that his name?
Quentin?
Yeah, Quentin's 26, I heard.
Yeah, 26.
Like, I mean, these guys are monsters.
It's the rise of the babies.
Yes, it is. It is the rise of the mutants. You know, these guys are all monsters. And what's cool about it is the fact that you got to see them kind of go at it. Really cool victory speech that was kind of, you know, Andrew going at these guys that were getting on them. I guess online some people were talking. But I think that what I saw was that going back to Branch, I think he lost any remaining hair, little baby, baby elephant hair he has on his head kind of fell over, like baby elephant. Yeah. That's what happens if you try to grow this out. You get little random that fell out because I said, what was worse? And he goes, bro, this is so much harder than being an athlete.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So good. A little bit of respect to the coaches now.
I could tell looking at him, he looked like he hadn't slept in a while.
That's right.
And I remember you don't sleep. The weekends, Olympias, you don't sleep at all.
Yeah, even this week for me, it was very tough because I had Andre in the show yesterday. He placed second in a really good competition with the men's physique. And again, I treat everything like it's the Olympia. That's why I don't tend to do a lot of the shows outside the Olympia. But watching him go through it, it kind of like gave me a little bit of joy.
Martin leveled up because last year I was not impressed with his condition at all. He did this show, got 4th, and then he went on to Legion. I think he actually looked worse in Legion, but those days are over. He's on the rise, as we like to say. Yeah. 3rd place, kind of disappointment for local hero Steve Kuklow. This was supposed to be his show to win or to lose. The heavy favorite. It was a very close second here to Ian Valliere last year, and I like Steve a lot. You coached him. I mean, we've both known him for many years, and I was kind of disappointed. I was kind of disappointed for him, not in him, because I knew how much he wanted this, and I knew how badly he wanted it. But this was not the best Steve Kuklow I'd ever seen.
Yeah, I think we talked about that after the prejudging. That I think that it wasn't his best showing, but all in all, it's just a matter of what he's going to do with it now. Where he's going to go, because I'm sure he's going to try to still qualify for the Olympia, figure out what shows next. But again, Steve is a warrior. He's going to go in there and take his body to the next level. I'm sure he's going to try to pick the next show that's going to be available and just go in there and try to get his qualification.
Yeah, and I mean, it also points to the fact that we do have all this new blood coming in, and it's hard for guys who've been doing this for a very long time, and they're not improving, and then you got these new guys coming up that are getting better and better all the time. That's how every sport is. Eventually the older athletes cycle out, and you got these newer athletes coming in. So let's move on to 4th place, Kamal El-Gardni in his 2nd open show in 2 weeks, 212 Olympia champ. Filled out a little bit. I think he was around close to 2. Actually, I think he said he was fuller for this, about 220. First of all, do you like his look better as open, or did you like him better as a 212?
I think it's really hard to say because with these guys, it's a bit different. 218, 220, I believe, is where his weight was, what he told me backstage. And I think that I like him a bit fuller, but it just all depends on who you're standing next to. Because at the end of the day, when you're standing next to somebody and you barely make 212, you're at the top of that class, and he's just ripped to shreds. And here, he was definitely a lot fuller. How did he look compared to last week?
I think he looked a little fuller. The condition was just as good, but like you said, some of his shots are awesome, and other shots you see structurally, he's not as gifted. doesn't have like a really natural V taper to his torso. Doesn't have a massive quad sweep, and he's standing up there with guys like Andrew, who's wide as a barn door. He's quad sweep out freaking 20 feet to either side. It's tough, but I mean, still, for him to be up there, I mean, he had dreamed of doing open shows. I believe this is last year competing. He's 51 years old. He's been doing this since the early 90s. Okay. And man, props to him for pulling it off like this.
Absolutely. I mean, a lot of people, when they end up athletes that get to their late 40s, early 50s, they have skin texture issues. They have a lot of issues where they lose their legs. And he did not have that. So he still brought his A game, and he looked absolutely incredible, and age aside.
Yeah. So rounding out top 5 was Candace Quentin, as we said, 26 years old, a kid. I think he's going to be so much better. He's very good now, but he needs to fill out. You could see it in the torso. 100%. His legs are pretty good. I think his legs are close to where they need to be. I want to see that upper body another 20% thicker and fuller.
I think he can be thicker everywhere. I mean, again, legs are not where that he needs the thickness, but I'm sure he's going to continue to grow because he's not going to stop training his legs. But as he continues to grow and he basically gets a thicker, more dense upper body, he's going to be really a formidable athlete at the Olympia. Yeah.
Couple guys that did make top 5, I think, deserve some honorable mention. Jeff T, Sharon Font, Big Bad Bundy on Instagram from Baltimore. This guy wasn't on my radar at all. I mean, I've seen him a couple times. I was like, he's pretty good, but I never thought he'd be in like a first call out of a show of this caliber. Thoughts on Jeff T?
Yeah, I spoke about him after prejudging. I thought he could be in the top 5. So now, he's a guy that's going to continue to keep getting better with getting more back development. That's all I saw him missing. Yeah. But I'm sure he knows that, or whoever's coaching him knows that. So as he continues to build up his back, I think he's going to continue. He reminds me a little bit of a less thicker William Bonac. I mean, obviously
the hair,
the dreads and all that. But at the same time, he's got a nice physique. Yeah. And I think as he gets his back thicker, he's going to be really good.
Yeah, another guy impressed me was another Texan, Joe Mackey. Oh. Joe Mackey was another guy who was like always a second, third call out guy.
And you got to remember, Joe Mackey would have been in the top 5 here if it wasn't for a couple of these guys showing up last minute. I mean, Andrew was not supposed to do this show. Nope. A couple of these other guys, like Kamal, he would have been in the top 5. Yeah. So Joe has made some tremendous improvements this year. I think he's going to continue to improve, and that's a guy that's right here in our backyard here. And I think that he's going to continue to keep getting thicker and rounder. But he has got a really nice round physique.
Yeah. And that was we've talked about everyone that was in the first call out, so I think we're going to call it a night, guys. It's getting, good Lord, it's 11 o'clock already. Honey's got to get back to his family. So, right. what's your son's name? Cameron's the last time I saw it. I don't think I've ever seen Cameron in real life until this weekend.
Really?
Yeah, he's like this big now.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Farnaz is looking lovely. And you had your Evogen booth back there. It was a great weekend. Yeah, so welcome to Dallas, I guess.
It's been awesome.
So, Hany Rambod, thank you so much. Always love your opinions and insights.
Thank you.
And you got a little bit of humor in there, which I always appreciate. Keeps things interesting. So, man, thank you so much. Appreciate you taking the time.
Absolutely.
Texas Pro, that wraps it up for MD. Our coverage brought to you by High Tech Pharmaceuticals. Thanks for watching. Boop.